This is chapter 2, functions. Very short answer question, R.D. Sharma Solutions, class 12th. This is question number 1. Which one of the following graphs represent a function? So we have a test called vertical line test that is employed to check whether it is a function or not. So vertical line test. What do we do in this? We take a vertical line and we pass it horizontally or move it horizontally on the graph. If it is intersecting only at one point, one intersection is there, then this graph or this is a function. If it is intersecting more than 2 points or more than 1 point, sorry, because more than one is enough, so that will not be a function. So let us start with the first one. Same thing we are going to do, vertical line test. We are passing it, and if you see here, there is only one intersection everywhere. We have crossed the graph, so it is a function. Now we'll do it again for the second one. When we move this horizontally, this vertical line, it is intersecting not at 1, not at 2, but 3 points. So it's not a function. And what is the significance of this? Why it is not a function? See, for one x point or for one x value, we are getting 3 y values. Right? That is, if we want to make a function or try to map it, if this is x and corresponding y, so one value will be mapping to 3 values in y. And this is the contradiction to the definition of function. Right? So this is not a function. Question number 2. So we have 2 graphs here. Which one of the following graphs represent a 1-1 function? 1-1 function means one value of one set will only be mapped to single value of the other set. That is, if this is a boyfriend function set, this is a girlfriend set. So one boyfriend will only have one girlfriend, and vice versa, one girlfriend will only have one boyfriend. There cannot be multiple relations. So what do we do? How do we do this? We just saw about the vertical line test for the function. In order to check for 1-to-1, we use the horizontal line test. So we take a horizontal line and move it vertically from top to down. And then we see the intersection. Since this is intersecting at 2 points here, that is, we are getting for 2x values, 1 y value, or you can say for 1 y value we have 2x values. That is, if this is boyfriend 1, this is boyfriend 2, we have for 2 boyfriends, we can say we have only 1 girlfriend. This is not 1-to-1. So this is not 1-to-1. We'll do it with the other function. Same thing, the horizontal line, vertically we are moving top to down, or down up to, you can say bottom to up, you can also do. So it is intersecting only at 1 point. So this is a 1-to-1 function. Question number 3. If A is 1, 2, 3 and B is AB, write the total number of functions from A to B. How many functions are possible from A to B? Because they are not asking about 1, 1 or on 2 or any other thing. They are just asking about total number of functions. We have 1, 2, 3 in the first set and A and B in the second set. So functions, total number of functions. So we have a direct relationship, direct formula for that. We will directly employ it. You need to remember it also. That is, the number of element of first set you have to take, the number of element of the second set you have to take, and then you have to multiply it. How do you multiply it? First thing, there should not be mapping as per se, which is not a function. Okay, so let me just show you here. I'm saying if we want to make it, we need to be very sure that it is a function. That is a1, b1, a2, b2 should be there. a1, a2, this a1 and a2 should not be same. Otherwise, it will not be a function. Nothing should be remaining in the first set. The second set can have we can leave some value, because we know the concept of codomain and range. Codomain is all the values of y, and range is what is being mapped. So the number of element of A and number of element of B we have to just see. That is, number of element of A is 3. 1 to 3 you count it. 1 to 3 is 3. And number of element of B you count it. A and B, they are 2. Now just take the number of element of B and take the power of number of element of A. 2 to the power 3, that is going to be 8. Question number 4. If A is equal to ABC and B is equal to -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, write total number of 1-1 functions from A to B. 1-1 functions. So there are multiple ways to do it. I'll tell you all the ways, because this can be thought in a different way. This is not a relation or a function for problem. This is a basic mathematical problem. So if we have, this is a mapping, or so you can say arrangement problem, or permutation arrangement you have already seen in somewhat probabilistic theory. So what we do here is, I'm just trying to make a combination. So if we want 1-to-1 function, there should be only 1-to-1 mapping. That is, A can be mapped to -2, B can be mapped to -1, and C can be mapped to 0. But this is only 1. Now A can be mapped to -1, B can be mapped to 0, C can be mapped to 1. But every time we have to see, we don't have the repeated ones. So we have to remove that also. Okay. So first, I'm taking the A1. This is clear. Okay. A to -2, B to -1, C to 0 is 1-to-1. This is how we are going to make. But we can map it like this. A to -2, A, B to 0, and C to 1. But A to -2 is repeated. We have to remove that. So what do we do? Because there are 5 in the second set, 3 in the first set. So the first one, A, can be mapped to 5 elements, which is -2 to 2. The second B, because already we have used 4, so one of the member will be with A. So 4 will be remaining with this B, so 4. And one A and B is mapped to 2 elements of B, 2 elements of the second set. Only 3 is remaining for the C. So 5 into 4 into 3. Okay. I hope you got the idea. Let me explain it in a different way. I'm saying A can be combined with any of these 5, because it has 5 options. But once we have taken one of these from the second set, for the second, that is for B, there are only 4 left. -1, 0, 1, 2, just take an example. But once A and B both are engaged with the 2 of the other set, only 3 are remaining for the C. So it will only have 3 options. So A can be combined with -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. This is for A. Just assume that A is combined with, say, -2, or A is combined with 0, mapped with 0. But once it is combined or mapped with any of these, only 4 are remaining for B. B has only 4 options. But once A and B both are being mapped, C will only be remaining with the 3, because A and B is already mapped. So 5 into 4 into 3, that is going to be 60. Question number 5 we are taking. Write total number of 1-to-1 function from set A. A is 1, 2, 3, 4. B is A, B, C. Now let us use the formula. I already told you. You can do that. But here is a catch. What is a catch? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first set. we have A, B, C in the second set. So in order to make 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 has to be mapped with exactly one element of the second set. I am saying you cannot leave any element of the first set because it will be not function then. Any value of the other set can be left, no problem with that. So let me combine 1 with A, 2 with B, or 3 with C. What about 4? 4 has no one to be mapped. So this is not, for the first go, we can see that it is not a 1-to-1. It is not possible to make a 1-to-1. I'll give you the mathematical way to understand it. NA is 4, number of element of A is 4, number of element of B is 3. Since number of element of B is less than the number of element of A, there is no possibility of 1-to-1. Okay? There is no possibility of 1-to-1. So there will be no 1-to-1 function. 0 it will be. Answer is 0. Question number 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, all these are similar. 10 also. All these rest coming. So we have to find f inverse 25 if f is from R to R defined by fx equals x square. So real number to real number. Fx is equal to x square. We have to find out f inverse 25. So let us say it to be y. You can also put it as x. Don't worry about that. You can always put it as x. But by the previous conventional way, y equals fx we always write for the initial function, and then for the inverse we change the position of x and y. So for the inverse we write x equals fy. That is why I have used y here. But there is no hard and fast. You can always write x. I'll do a question like that. So f inverse x is equal to y. I'm just saying, don't worry about y or x. Just one word I'm saying. So f inverse x is y, f inverse 25 equals y, 25 equals fy. So we have to find out fy equals 25, fy, we put y here, fy will be equal to, this will be y square. Either you can write y square, x square, it doesn't matter. So y square equals 25, y square minus 25 equals 0. Y square, 25 can be written as phi square. It would be y square minus phi square. Now you can always use the formula of a squared minus b square. So a minus b, a plus b. This is going to be y equals 5 and this will give you y equals negative 5. So y equals 5, y equals negative 5. So this is the solution. F inverse 25 is negative 5 and 5. The only thing I want to highlight is you can use always x. I'm just saying that when we were doing theory and previous questions, y equals fx was our initial function and x equals fy was our inverse function. That is how I used it. Next question is, if f is from C to C, C is a complex number. C denotes the set of all complex numbers. So C to C we are talking about is defined by fx equals x squared. So we have C is of a plus ib form. This is the complex number how we represent it. A plus ib form. So define or write f inverse negative 4. So fx equals x square. F inverse minus 4 we have to find out. Okay. So f inverse, same thing, thing I'm going to use is f inverse. This is negative 4, I guess. I'll just change it. F inverse negative 4 equals y. Negative 4 equals fy. See, always you can use x also. This is just the way we were doing it earlier. So I just want to stick to that kind of convention. That is why I'm using this f inverse 4 equals y. But you can always use it as x anytime. Because y equals fx was our initial function. Whenever we take inverse, we always write x equals fy. So f inverse x will be equal to y. Same thing, that is if we map from x to y, that will be the direct function. And when we take the inverse mapping, that is going to be the inverse function. So it will be from y to x, not from x to y. That is why I'm using y. I'll do the next question with x. Don't worry about that. So let us write it y square. This fy will be y square. And this will be negative 4. I'll just change it to negative 4. Y square equals negative 4. So you can always change it to x square, but let us concentrate on solving this. So how do we do this? Because it is already being said that this is a complex number. So we have to change it into complex number. Y square plus 4 equals 0. Y square, now see here. So 4. 4 can always be written as 2 square. How do we introduce the value of complexity, complex number? We know I square equals minus 1 iota. I square equals minus 1. So I square is negative 1. 2 square is 4. So in order to put this I square, we have to have a minus 1 there. But if we introduce a minus 1, we have to make a minus 1 also, because it is plus y square plus. So in order to make I square, if I am writing I square, I am purposefully putting negative. So I have to put a negative, change the sign to negative, because negative will be positive then only. Because we cannot change y square plus 4. If we are introducing, we have to make it plus 4 only. Y square will be negative 1, so we have to change the sign to negative. And this is 2 square for 4. So this 2 I square 2 square can be written as 2i whole square. Negative will be, I hope you got the idea why we put negative. So 2i whole square, it is y square minus 2i whole square, it will be equal to 0. Now we'll again use the formula of a minus b, a plus b. Y minus 2i, y plus 2i equals 0, y gets 2i, y gets negative 2i. So this is your solution. Y equals 2i and y equals negative 2i. So f inverse negative 4 is equal to negative 2i and 2i. This is the solution you get. Okay. Now all the questions which are coming, 4 or 5 questions are like this. So let me take one more, question number 8. So f is r to r. This is given by fx equals x cube. And we have to find out f inverse 1. So now let me change the convention, and I'll just take it as x only. I'll not talk about that y, etc. So f inverse, I hope you got the idea why I told you why you have to put first. Why? So just because here nobody is asking to write inverse and actual function, just write x. So f inverse minus 1 equals x I am writing. F inverse minus 1 is x, f inverse x, so it would be, when we take inverse on this side, fx will be equal to minus 1, that is negative 1. So fx will be equal to, minus 1 will be equal to fx. Fx is already given as x cube, so x cube equals negative 1. Is it negative 1? It's 1. Oh, let me just change it, it's 1. So here is a correction. I'm just changing it to positive 1, it's not negative 1. So x cube and minus 1 equals 0. This 1 a will be, just make it as cube. The a cube minus b cube is a minus b, a square plus b square plus ab. We already know that. We just use this formula, x minus 1, x square plus x plus 1 equals plus x square plus 1 plus x equals 0. This identity you have to remember. Now this cannot be equal to 0 because we know about the real numbers. Earlier discussions also we had for that. But x minus 1 equals 0, x will be equal to 1. So this will be f inverse 1 will be equal to 1. Okay, let's stop here now. We'll be doing the rest in the next discussion. Till then, thank you so much and take care of yourself.